you ever look for a job, or did you start off as a business person?
I want to believe that every fresh graduate has big dreams, because what the institution doesn't tell us is how we find ground when we leave university. So you are in the confine of the university and you're thinking of this big dream. Actually, my specialization wasn't in this. I majored in advertising design, printmaking, and drawing special. Some of the works are in here. The hard reality hit at you because I got myself instructed in a university college. Then I left, I went to companies and I worked as a layout designer. But then I had a number of dependents and the money I was making wasn't enough. I got my first deal when I was leaving the university, which paid some little money. So I don't know why it was very difficult for me to sit down and make awards, because my first project, the first deal was awards, and I got some money, but still the money itself did not make me comfortable to sit and work. I wanted to go and be like any other graduate, look for a job, sit in a chair and put on a suit.
So after all those challenges, how did you finally pull through to say that I'm going to deal in awards and what we see here?
It's not a business you can rely on full time because it's seasonal, especially after the half of the year, past June. That's when you get companies, arrange, give out, awards. So the fact that I had people to take care of, and I wouldn't be assured of this, last half deals, I had to look for ways of getting other means of survival. Like I said, I was already close to writers, and I had a few printers, and my industrial training was at one of the publishing houses. So I had also understood that I can use my printers to help upcoming writers find it easy to have their books or works in print.
So when you started off with printing books, how did you actually decide that making accolades will make you a living, even given the fact that those deals usually come in towards the end of the year?
When you get a client for awards, most times they pay well. Most times. But also there are some challenges, some don't pay. So I had to make sure that the money I get in those rare deals, I use it to invest in other small projects which can give me a day income.
Okay.
A day's income.
So if you don't mind, would you share how much capital you actually started off this business with?
A friend of mine who is an inspirational speaker last time made me laugh when he told me that capital means the head. The brain. If you say you don't have capital, you literally have no head. I don't think that I started with a lot of money. I even laugh at myself when I remember the very first project I did at university. They used to tell us that an artist must be equipped to do any work anywhere. You can start with mud or sand or anything. You shouldn't wait for this, expensive equipment or a tool that, buys a premium. So I was ready like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell us about starting small, like starting with just one order to where you are today.
Let the truth be said. Most times we need resources to start. Because I also don't like this hypothetical belief that everyone can start with barely nothing. Because every time people front that, I feel that it's inappropriate. Sometimes you need something to start with. For me, I didn't have anything. But the survival instincts made me do things. But I'm not saying everyone can do that. Because like I've said, a few people have related with me, they know I do a lot of stuff.
So you're only 31 years old, and from what I can see, you're a one-man army. How do you manage to do all of this on your own?
I can't say I'm a one-man army because here is my printer, it's here. Before my studio was robbed, I had a producer here, an audio producer. you saw a team of, you know, some are my siblings, my nieces. So I always work with people. Actually, I treasure working with people because that's the only way I can learn new things.
So why did you choose to specialize in making accolades and trophies of all kinds of art? Why did you settle for this one?
Another interesting question. I want to believe that I have a keen eye for detail, and I find our art very special. Sometimes the value people give to the accolade can drive you to challenging yourself to doing better and better.
So what kind of material do you use and where do you source it from?
Like I was saying, material, I can use any material that is within reach. One, when I'm working with metals, for example, like this one, if you look at this is brass. And you cannot import brass rods. They are pretty very expensive. So you can't believe that this is scrap brass. I go to Chisenyi, I go to Katwe, you know, you get padlocks, you remember the tricycle padlocks, and I melt them. Then I have to work on them till when you get this smooth product. So basically, the materials I use can be found here. These are acrylics. These ones I find them in shops. This is an acrylic, plastic acrylic. Sometimes I use diaglass. I use cardboard filler like these things you saw. I use resin. I use fiberglass. I use wood. I use anything. I can use cement. I can use plaster of Paris.
So how have you branded yourself out there? How have people gotten to know about Bonaventure Asima?
I must appreciate people like you, the media, because as you see, I work from my company, my home, and most of my businesses come from recommendation, from book printing to awards. Recommendation. When you make an award, you can't underrate the possibility of people who might get your contacts from people who either take award. That's why you must be careful. If it's a kwala or half-baked, shoddy work, you still get feedback.
So that brings me to my next question. What are the challenges that you have gone through to see your brand where it is today?
There are very many challenges, and if you ask my assistant, we have very many challenges. One is what I told you. You rarely get people who appreciate our work. They would rather go into a shop and get a Chinese product.
True.
Whether it's cement or mud coated with gold, they are comfortable taking that home. I used to respect my uncle who used to buy anklets and bracelets from blacksmith, could be coated gold, and it's when I became an artist that I realized it, and I started appreciating people who look out for such products. We all do that sometimes. But when you look at the time, the energy the artist puts into the work, then you start appreciating the other works you find out there.
So how have you managed to pull through these challenges and actually keep going? Motivation
and inspiration, and also survival instincts. I have people to fend for. So you can't say because this person has cheated me, let me go back and sleep. That really would be very stupid of you. So what you do, and you can't be so very difficult, you lose business.
From what I saw, the kind of tools you use are mainly ordinary tools.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, share with us which tools you use and how you actually manage to use them even in their state.
I use a compressor. Here it is. I can use a compressor for many things. If I'm working with wood, or say if I've engraved and I want these words to come off well, I first wrap up things here so that the spray does not affect the main body. I use a compressor. Sometimes I need a dust-free environment. Still the compressor will blow off dust.
So how long does it take you to actually make a complete and finished accolade?
It depends on material. Brass and bronze takes the longest time, because if I give an estimate of, say, an award can take me the whole day, because of course you don't sit and say I'm making one complete award a day. Sometimes, you know, you go through stages. If you say I'm working on pedestals, you work on pedestals. If you say I'm casting the body, you're casting the body. You don't say let me cast the body, grind it, polish it, make one finished accolade, because at the end of the day they will not look the same. If it's wood, I can make like 17, 20, thereabout.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is your pricing like? Tell us the range of the kind of accolades that you actually make.
Most times the price is affected by the quantities ordered. For example, I make molds or patterns, or what you would call obtiwa. If you commission me to make an accolade like this and you want to, the unit price will be very
High.
high. Because one, I can't guarantee, I can't have the two products look the same without making a mold or the katiba. Meaning that you want two items, but I'm forced to make a mold, to making a mold, and I will use that mold to make only your two accolades. No one will come and I say, I want a Maasai warrior.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what advice do you give to the youth out there who think it's all about getting white-collar jobs, sitting in an office under an AC, wearing a suit, because you're making a living even while doing jobs that are not collar jobs?
Brenda, I'll be moved to say that, like I said before, not every youth is lucky to have a skill on them, because the different courses we take in university will equip us with different skills. But for those who are out there and they have some skill, any skill they can start with, it's high time they run and do something about it.
Can you share with us a few of the events that you've actually made awards for?
That's a difficult question. I've realized actually that most companies which hire me for the awards, you have seen tags, and I'm sure you have seen most of these awards. They don't feel comfortable talking about where they get them. Yeah, they want to keep the work discreet, and I give that respect.
Well, thank you so much for allowing for us to host you on Urban TV. Well, what can I say? From what Bonaventure has said, it is, if you love what you do, do it with all you have. If you do something that is quality, I mean, it will sell itself from one person to another just by word of mouth. That brings us to the end of Legit Hustlers this evening. Catch us again next week as we bring you all the best from the world of entrepreneurs that advise you, the youth out there that watch us. Brenda Kembabas is my name. Have yourselves a good evening.